I'm Dan Holt. Welcome to the lower half of Oregon's top northwest corner. There's a lot of interesting little towns and scenic places in these 2,000 miles of back roads between Portland and Tillamook. We're going to try not to miss anything of interest in this, my Oregon video map number 2. We're starting right on the I-5 freeway, where you can get a good view of Mount St. Helens and also Mount Hood from the hill overlooking the Willamette River in southwest Portland. Even though this is a big city of over 500,000 people, it's still real easy to find your way around and hard to get lost here because of the two rivers and the mountains, which are excellent landmarks. Starting from Portland, we'll go to Tigard, and then we'll see Metzger, Progress, Garden Home, Raleigh Hills, Beaverton, Cedar Hills, Marline Village, Aloha, Reedville, and Orenco. Tigard is a small city of just 30,000 people. Since 3 of Portland's main roads cross here, it has plenty of traffic. We're pulling off the 4-lane just south of Highway 217 to take a look at the old city center. You'll notice it even has sideways parking, like many of the other old towns had. This is Metzger. It's just one of a few small towns that got swallowed up by Greater Portland. It still does have a little forest mixed in with an occasional condominium and a few neat little houses. Going out of town, we're heading northwest toward Progress. That is, if we don't clip a certain little blue car that's hanging out a little bit too far. Progress, just like its name implies, is a rapidly growing area made up of many new buildings and shopping centers. Garden Home is a shopping center in a garden-like setting. Next we're going north to Raleigh Hills, then west to Beaverton. Beaverton is a nice shopping mall area of 57,000 people. If you have a tendency to be a shopaholic, this is the place for you to really shop till you drop. Cedar Hills, just a little north of Beaverton, is another nice modern shopping area also. A little farther to the northwest, right by the Sunset Highway, is Marline Village. A gas station and a church and an old housing development is all there is here. Over to the southwest of Marline Village is the widely spread out city of Aloha. It's kind of hard to figure out where this place starts or ends at. We'll just have to blame it onto suburban crawl. The Big White Rabbit marks the beginning of Reedville. This is actually where the Portland metropolitan area begins to end at. Next we'll turn onto an old country road, and a few miles northwest is the town of Orenco. A Presbyterian church and an old store. We're finally out of the city far enough to find an old town that's got real personality, that's beyond the urban sprawl. Orenco is a small backroad country town that has probably just been forgotten because of its remoteness. It's out here between a couple of the main roads. This is about the size of a town that I like, where you get to know everyone around. That's just the complete opposite from living in the city, where you may not even get to know your next door neighbors. Enough people do live here so that they've outgrown the old schoolhouse and built a modern new one. After Orenco, we'll go through Hillsboro and pass a golf course on the way to Blooming, then back to Cornelius, Hayes, and Forest Grove. Next to Verboort and Schefflin, where we'll look at an old tractor collection. Then down this road to Highway 8 again, and on to Gales Creek and Balm Grove, past Balms Park to Kansas City. Hillsboro is a good-sized, high-tech city of 40,000. You would think it was named for the many hills in the area, but actually it was named after an early pioneer governor, David Hill. He held office for nearly a year. The town was also named Columbia and Columbus before 1855, when this name finally became the official name. Next we're going south about 4 miles, then west 4 miles to Blooming. After you turn west and look at all the good rolling farmland around here, you'd agree that Blooming would be a perfect name for this community. Cornelius was named after a pioneer Indian fighter. In 1915, this town was bigger than Beaverton, but today it only has about 6,000 people. There's no sign where Hayes once stood. There is this nice Masonic and Eastern Star home here now. Forest Grove's population is 14,000. Back in 1915, it was almost as big as Hillsboro, and 6 times the size of Beaverton. They do have an annual barbershop quartet get-together here, which draws a crowd in this otherwise nothing ever happens type town. Forest Grove is also the home of Pacific University, a very old school in a country town setting. It was started in 1849 and still has one of the original buildings. The map says Verboort, but it's spelled wrong. It's actually Verboort, spelled V-E-R-B-O-O-R-T with an R. It's only a small community, but is famous for its annual sausage festival, which they hold every autumn. About 5 miles to the northeast is Schefflin, another small community with no stores. But there is a very interesting farm to visit here with some antique tractors parked all around it. Sitting on the tracks, we noticed these 2 old restored passenger cars. I believe that they belong to the railroad traveling restaurant at Roy, Oregon, which we'll see more of a little later. This is Kurt Spiegel's farm. It just happens to be his hobby to collect and restore all this old farm equipment.
10 horsepower Fairbanks Morris engine.
10? Wow.
10 horse,
10
huh?
horsepower.
What was it? Oh, just
You put a
power
belt
something.
pulley on it, and it.
Oh, okay.
Just
All
an
right.
engine, and you run a
Oh, I
belt.
see. It's on a trailer. Yeah. Okay.
So you can pull it with horse-drawn.
Where'd you get this, by the way, just for curiosity?
Great Falls, Montana.
You bought it in Great Falls, Montana, and
Yeah.
hauled it out.
Had it hauled out, yeah.
And you've had it running.
Oh, it runs, yeah.
Were they using it, you think, or was it you
No,
found it in the
no,
field
it-
somewhere and got it cheap?
No, this is a farmer over there that had retired and had a pretty good-sized tractor collection, and he was selling off everything.
Huh.
And so we bought. In fact, we picked this one up from him last summer.
Well, he's still pedaling off the farm?
Well, that's got
Well,
a
he was.
flywheel
He
with
passed away
gears
about
on it.
a couple weeks after
You must
we
have had
had it.
electric start on that one.
It
then.
had electric start, yeah.
Oh, modern.
Uh-huh.
You know, I've never seen an oil pool like this one. How come it's a small one? It still runs on kerosene, does it?
Still runs on kerosene, yeah.
Well, it's got steel wheels with rubber tread on them.
Yeah.
Now this is really
I
quite
remember
a different one.
cars. There's cars that had a steel rim with a rubber.
Yeah, the Mack trucks and some of them did. Well, what kind of a motor does that one have on it? That looks
It's a
interesting.
big 2-cylinder, it's an Eagle tractor. I've taken parts off of it. I haven't had it running.
With an updraft carburetor, is that what I'm looking at there?
Yeah. It's gassed.
It is gas driven.
It's not a centrifugal clutch.
It's not a centrifugal clutch. And weights just probably help you disengage.
After leaving the tractor farm at Schefflin, we're headed south toward Cornelius and Highway 8. This is Highway 8 going northwest between Forest Grove and Gales Creek. We're passing a winery, and then there's some Christmas tree farms about midway. This must be Gales Creek right here.
Gales Willows Creek, Oregon.
That's what it is.
Population 76.
Huh. Big town.
Country store. Soda Springs. Old Wilson River Road. Forest Grove Fire Department. Old pickup.
Yeah, this is Balm Grove.
That's Balm Grove, population 16.
Oh, this is the road that goes to Kansas City. I need to go that way too, probably. The road going east from the Balm Grove Park store to Kansas City gets fairly narrow and then turns to gravel after a while. They can't seem to keep a sign up announcing Kansas City because someone's always stealing it, but you can faintly read the old rusty sign on the City Hall building. Kansas City Hall.
Kansas City Hall. Right there, it's plain as day. You can't miss it at all. Can you see it clearly?
Yep.
I can. Without my glasses, I can see it just as clear as can be.
Across the street, the old schoolhouse looked like it had seen better days long ago. But the lady who lives next door told us about the Hillside School, which is up on the hill about a mile west behind the City Hall. Another lady just happened to be visiting here today with her children who attended this school, so I asked her what it was like attending a one-room school.
It was sort of like 2 rooms. It was sort of divided, but it was all in one.
Uh-huh.
You know, it was fun. I was the only one in my grade for years. We'd have every once in a while somebody move in, but they always seemed to move out that was my age.
Oh.
And my brother was 2 years older, and that was the big class, and there was 3 of them. And we all got along. We were the best playmates, the whole class, the whole range of age, you know, which is something different from now. You know, nowadays they have so many their own age, and we had such a range. We used to play out. There was a pear orchard out here. That was one of the really fun things to do when it was nice spring days. Just go out back in the pear orchard and play. And
You didn't have any swings or anything?
Yeah, no, we had swings.
Oh,
we had
okay.
swings, and we had.
But you'd rather play in the orchard.
Playing in the
huh?
pear orchard, and
Okay.
climbing the trees and eating the pears. That was in the fall.
How did one teacher teach so many different grades? And
She had a lot of us teach. The older kids taught the younger kids.
after visiting the Hillside School, we go east to Greenville and Roy, then Thatcher, Banks, and Davies. This is Greenville, and there isn't actually anything much here.
Well, there's the Reedville Park.
Oh, it does have a park, yeah. The sign shows that we've come 2 miles from Kansas City, and Roy is 2 miles more. Isn't this an interesting looking yard? There might not be any stores here, but it looks like those people had a little bit of everything.
Here on the corner is the city of Roy. Coastline Express Depot.
The town of Roy consists of this old, apparently empty store building, along with a Catholic church and school, and a few houses. The main attraction that seems to bring people from all around the country to this little hamlet is the Coastline Express, where you can enjoy a good dinner along with a train ride on an old restored passenger train. We went into the office and got a little information from Vicki Steele. In between phone calls for reservations and information, she was able to tell us a little bit about the train. The office happens to be an old caboose.
I heard about this. I told him we had to find this train. I knew it was here in Roy.
Yeah.
I told him we had to find the train to get the picture.
Well, if you go on the train and you go all the way through to the last car, that's our lounge car, and I'll show you what the lounge car looked like when we purchased it. We ran on the Alaska Railroad, That's it.
Oh,
That's the
my.
insides of it. This is it now.
Oh my.
This is it now. There's the dance floor.
Uh-huh.
The karaoke singer is right there, and it's all done, all with a hand inlaid mahogany. It's just gorgeous. And we have a full kitchen, so that all the food is prepared on the car. For instance, you have your choice for your entrees: garlic roasted prime rib, filet of Northwest salmon, and you can have that poached, grilled, or baked because he prepares it on a train. Or the other choice is breasted chicken Shannon. It's stuffed with fresh spinach, shallots, feta cheese, and mushrooms, and it's wonderful. Really, really good. This train goes to Cochrane,
Oh, okay.
and it's four and
It does go to Cochrane?
4.5 to 5 hour round trip.
Does
we
it go
have-
any past there?
No, not right now. We'll be making 30 trips a year to the coast. What are the two of you doing on Saturday night?
I have to
Or
work.
we have to work.
You have to work? Oh.
We only get off usually Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yeah, I work Saturdays and Sundays and
Yeah.
can't get off
The
till I
only time the
retire.
train runs on Wednesdays is the third Wednesday of every month, and that's Murder Mystery Night.
Okay. The Spirit of Oregon dinner train probably looks just as good or better now as it did when it was new. A tremendous amount of work and money have been put into the restoration of this train. You could never imagine just how impossible this job would have looked to anyone else. But now here it is completed, and what a masterpiece it is. Reminds me of just what God can do with a totally wasted life. He can make us over even better than what we were to start with. I know I'm going to try to get a Saturday off to come here and ride this train myself. Going south from Roy, the road to Thatcher turns off Highway 47 to the west at a body shop. You can tell that this is only a farming community by the sign warning you to watch out for tractors. Thatcher is just another semi-forgotten, off-the-road community. It has an abandoned house and perhaps even a school from the past. Banks to the north is a different story altogether. It's a thriving town of 600 people. It's built at a crossroad, and it's one of the few small Oregon towns left that has an operating sawmill, not yet run out of business by the fabricated owl shortage story. If you look close, you'll see a kid throw an orange ball across the road. I hope you've enjoyed this first half hour of my Oregon video map number 2 between southwest Portland and Tillamook. This video will go on to include the Glenwood Trolley Park and also the beautiful northern Oregon coastline. There are several interesting places to see in this corner of our state. Come along and explore more of Oregon next week. We'll travel down the coast from Tillamook after we see its cheese plant, through Rockaway Beach, and then on to Hug Point.